Hi, I'm Persia.
And I'm Joey, and you're watching an Addictive Daughter's Skype Nugget.
And today we are so excited to get to interview our dear friend, Rebecca Campbell, who is, and I'm reading this off the back of her new book. I don't know if you can see it there. Light is the new black. Okay, so Rebecca Campbell is a writer, inspirational speaker, grounded spiritual mentor, practical intuitive guide and teacher, and soon to be author. Well, no, is the author of Light is the New Black. Rebecca, how are you?
Great. So excited to be here with you two lovely ladies.
We're so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us, Rebecca, and we're really excited about this book, which is coming out on the 6th of July. And we're both great fans of it, and we're excited to talk to you about this today. So today we're going to be speaking to Rebecca about 3 ways in which to really light up your soul, and who doesn't want that? So Rebecca, to begin with, we wondered if you'd just tell us a bit about your journey. How did you get to this place?
Sure. So I think I had my first spiritual awakening, so to speak, when I was a teenager. But I think I'd always known that I wanted to write, and I knew I wanted to kind of just put positive messages out there, but I had no freaking idea how the hell to do it. When I had my awakening, I discovered amazing books, like similar to mine in the sense of like it's talking about the journey of the soul, but I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone in my life about it, and so I very promptly went into a spiritual closet. And so like by day I was like a normal girl and I forged a career in advertising. I worked as a creative director and went to university, had a really awesome life on the outside, you know, did all the goals, and it was like tick, 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 tick. But it got to a point where, you know, by night I was studying about the journey of the soul, studying intuition, and that's really what lit me up. That's what I was just like, I love this. I could just lose hours doing that stuff. But it was like I had 2 different worlds, and I could feel with every coming week and month and year that those 2 worlds were getting further apart. And at some point, like, it was almost like the universe ended up turning off all the lights, so I had no choice but to really find my own. And I did that through, and I know you girls understand that story of rock bottom and the dark night of the soul, where it's like the life crumbles. And when that happened to me, it was through the end of over a decade long relationship, loss of one of my best friends, and then another, and then another. It was just like boom, 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 like that. And then I moved into the dream home in Notting Hill, like just down from the blue door and all of that. And I walked in on the first day, and then even that was falling apart. And it was almost like as if the universe was holding up a big fat mirror for me to be like, you've heard this call for a long time. It's time to act on it now. And at that point, I finally kind of, it's like my mind and my ego finally begged for mercy, and I let my soul lead me and actually answer that call, that niggly feeling that was always there, whether it was like, you know, probably like it mostly is, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, right, where that little voice comes in, and you spend your days and your weekends trying to numb it out a little bit. But yeah, for me it got to that point where I actually listened.
So I think let's crack on with the tips. You're going to share 3 tips with us today on how to light up your soul.
So, yeah, absolutely. So the first one is my favorite, and don't underestimate the power of this one. It sounds really simple, but it can really be life-changing. So it is to answer the question, which is what lights you up. So follow what lights you up. I think when we're stuck, where maybe we're in a job where it's just like, I know this isn't quite right for me, but I don't know where to act, because I'm like, I don't see that. I'm waiting to find that end point of like, oh, I want to be a writer, or I want to be an actor, or I want to start a life-changing business inspiring young people, you know, like whatever that is. It's like, it's really hard to step towards it unless we know step by step how to get there. For me, what really was a game changer for me was that I realized that I definitely did want to create change, and I wanted to help inspire people, but I was so busy trying to like do the light rather than actually be it, right? So I was working, what am I here to do? Am I here to be a chef? Am I here to be an actor? Am I here to be a director? Like, it was all do.
Yeah.
And what I realized when the life crumbled was that I'm not actually filling myself up. And so, of course, I have nothing to give. I'm not inspired. That word inspired is like in spirit. When you follow what lights you up, you are in your spirit. When you're in your spirit, you're inspired. And so when I asked myself that question, the answer I got was flowers. And I was like, flowers? That's just stupid. What the hell can flowers do to me to help me answer the call of my soul? I have no idea. But I knew enough about intuition at that point that I needed to trust it. And the most awesome thing happened. At first, I gave myself a £20 budget every single week to buy myself a bunch of flowers. And I felt that was excessive, like ridiculous. But I forced myself to do it. And what happened was, well, two things. First of all, I started getting given flowers all the time. Like, I just recently got given a flower subscription for Christmas. I didn't even know that existed, right? Maybe it didn't. Maybe I manifested it. But so I started, and if you look at my house now, my office is in the conservatory. Can you see it's filled with, it's like a flower den, like a big fat flower den. And so I filled myself with, like, my space with flowers. And then I discovered the London parks, like Regent's Park. Oh my God, it's like a piece of art. It's amazing. They change it every single month. And so I'd go out there in nature, connecting with nature, seeing all the beautiful flowers. Oh, all of a sudden I'm inspired, I'm in spirit. And I started to hear what I heard when I was younger. When I first awoke, it was like those whispers of my soul. And for me, it was all about writing. And so I'd write it down in my little moleskin. And then after like about a month of like every day receiving like a headline, I started taking a photo of it. And then I put it on Instagram. They turned into Rebecca Thoughts. Rebecca Thoughts then turned into the Instant Guidance Oracle on my website, which then turned into my book proposal. And then I found myself like just a year later sitting right in the center of Regent's Park, and I clicked file save on the very last chapter of my book, and I looked up and I realized I was right in the center of Regent's Park Rose Garden, where I'd written pretty much the whole thing. And so that's what I mean about it being such a powerful thing, that when you follow the little baby things that light you up, actually that's where you become inspired. And that's where actually by just doing that over and over and over again, all of a sudden you're in a completely different place.
That kind of lights your way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can so relate to that, because everyone's, how did you start Addictive-Daughter? I'm like, well, it started because we were in a very bad place at the same time, which was a blessing. And we decided we don't want to go back, we don't want to stay here. And what did we really love doing? Well, we really loved reading books about relationships, and we got really addicted to self-help books and going to events and having conversations. That was it. We loved talking to our girlfriends about relationships and about life, and that's all. And it's kind of just, it's conversations. Do you know what I mean? That's really where it started.
Mm-hmm. And that's what lifts us up.
Yeah.
And then it just, it's exactly the same as you. It evolves in a way that you may never have imagined it would.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You couldn't possibly have worked out, if you had have stayed here to work out what that exact outcome is and all the steps along the way, you would have never acted. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing you guys, I'm not sure when it was, but it was one of your first videos when you were sitting like on the bedroom floor or whatever. I was like, I freaking love these girls. Because you were just doing it. And that's the whole thing. Like, if there's anyone, it's like, I'm really passionate about really shining a light on the reality of stepping into your dream. Because I know, particularly when I was like, I personally think everyone deep down knows what they want to do, but the dots only join in the end. Yeah. So in 2 years into doing what you're here to do, you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I always knew. I always knew. But really at the time, and when even if you know what it is, it's freaking scary. Yeah. My favorite quote is by Stephen Pressfield, who says the more important a call is to your soul's evolution, so your soul's growth, the more resistance you'll feel around it. So I'm really passionate about fear being actually a really great sign that you're facing the right way. And the whole word courage comes from it's like to live courageously is to live from your heart, right? So you got to have fear if you're living from your heart. Fear's good.
Do you know what's so interesting is that that's so comforting to know that even when you're in the darkest place, like, and you will relate to this, when we're in our darkest place, thank God for that dark place, because that's been part of our story, and that's the reason we started Addictive-Daughter. If it wasn't for that dark place, we'd have nothing to talk about. We couldn't help anyone because we wouldn't have had learned anything. So that really helps. You know, that really links to what we were talking about earlier, is the whole idea of the shadow career and the shadow artist, which I think is so relevant to people who are kind of in their 20s and early 30s and struggling, feeling like, I'm doing a job that I don't like, and I know that there's something else. So could you talk a little bit about that?
For sure. So in my book, I talk about the shadow calling or shadow career, and I got inspiration from Miss Julia Cameron, who I know you guys are into her work. I just adore the artist's way. Such transformational work. And so for me, a shadow calling is the career that you're in, but it's kind of what you're here to do, but it's kind of not. So for me, I was in advertising. I started as a copywriter, and then I went as a creative director, but I was copy based, so that's writing, right? And I knew I wanted to write books, but I wasn't really sure how to quite do it, right? And so same as you guys, I know it's different, but you guys were actors, and now you're still doing that stuff, but you're just doing it. So you were saying it's like you were telling other people's stories, and now you're telling your own, which is just amazing. And the thing about the shadow career is that at some point, there is the friction point where it's just kind of like, oh, God. And the shadow calling and career is difficult because it's kind of what you want to do, and it's probably using a lot of your gifts. And that's where it's tricky. It's not like you're working in a bank and you're really an artist. Like, it's not in that black and white kind of way. There's like gray space. And so you can see the potential, but that niggle is there, that intuitive thing where it's just like, oh my God, and then the deeper you get into it, the harder it gets, because it's like, oh my God, I've consciously created this life. How the hell do I leave it now? And it's so good. It's so much that I'm going to be leaving behind, right? But, you know, I'm sure you guys would relate to this, where what I'm finding, particularly say in our worlds, like the work that we're doing, I'm finding so many people who were in advertising, in the performing arts, in communication, and there is no coincidence about that. I've had 2 clients today, both of which, one PR and one in advertising, and they're both about to launch their own personal brands. What perfect training in order to do that. Same as you guys, what perfect training. And so nothing is ever wasted. At the time, it feels like it's this humongous leap, and at first when you step towards it, it's like, oh God. But if you compared what that first day of that new job, like that second job, that real calling is like, compared to the first day of the first time you did the other thing, the calling's you're going to be like streaming ahead. And so if there's anyone out there who's kind of like, oh shit, I think that's me, and have I wasted all this time? I just want to say you have not. Nothing's ever wasted, and you will use all that and more, because when you step into the work you're really here to do, your gifts are effortless. And so it's not as hard work.
It's invaluable. Okay, this is amazing, Rebecca. So leading really nicely actually onto the second tip that you're going to share with us, which is all about following your intuition, even when it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. I say follow your intuition, especially when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because the thing about your intuition is that it's not logical. Your intuition, it's like it's from your heart, it's from your spirit. And so it's almost like it's your inner sat-nav. And so, you know, if something makes logical sense, as in it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, that's going to be your brain, your logical mind. Whereas your intuition, it works in it. First of all, it whispers, so you need to be quiet. So showing up every day to meditation is the only way I know to guarantee that you hear your intuition in that like non-negotiable kind of way every single day. But yeah, and so your intuition, it's always guiding you. Your soul is always guiding you, but you gotta quieten things down in a really disciplined way. And I'm really passionate about that. I remember for years hearing all my teachers going, you got to meditate every day. You got to meditate every day. And I was like, really? I don't know. And so it's a bit of a dabbler. But the reason showing up to that spiritual practice, and it can just be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to, you don't have to go off on a retreat or anything like that. But the reason showing up to that is so essential is that the moment you have a crap day will be the first moment that the spiritual practice slides. And those crap days are the days that you need it most. Yeah. So, yeah. And I think, like I was saying before about, like, it takes courage to live from your heart. And actually, it takes courage to act on your intuition. But if you don't act on it, you kind of miss your moment.
Do you know what's so funny is that we put up a picture from your book, this very one about follow your intuition when it doesn't make sense. We've had so many people comment and write to us because what I realised when I saw that was that usually it seems counterproductive. Your intuition says, walk away, leave, follow your heart. It might be a relationship, a career, whatever. It's usually fucking scary, quite frankly. And everything, your brain's going, no, because then that's too much. I can't imagine doing that. But actually, when, again, like you said, it's like what Steve Jobs says about connecting the dots later on. When you look back, you realise, thank fucking God that I had the bravery to listen to my intuition and walk away, because that's where all the miracles are.
Yeah.
So true. One of my favourite quotes, the second one is by Einstein. He said that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, the rational mind its faithful servant. But we've created a society that worships the servant and dismisses the sacred gift. And so that's the shift that's happening. And when you live from your intuition, you're allowing that gift, that sacred gift, to lead your life. And then your mind serves it. It takes practice.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the third tip, and we love this one. Embrace your weirdness.
Absolutely. I really believe that actually no one is normal. Everyone is weird, but everyone's trying, well, not everyone, a whole lot of people are trying to be normal, but no one's normal. That's the whole thing. And so when we step into the career that lights us up, the life that lights us up, actually it's probably going to be filled with contradictions. So for you guys were like, you guys are glamours, right? Like, you're just gorgeous, and you're like huge personalities and stuff, but you're so into self-development. You wouldn't think that those two go together, but that's what's so awesome about you guys. Right? Yeah, and so our weirdness is actually who we are. When it comes to, like, we all have a personal brand, whether or not we want to have one or not. It's called our spirit. I say, let your spirit be a brand. I've worked with brands who've thrown millions and millions of pounds in curating a brand, creating a brand, but the thing is, what brands don't have that we have is a spirit, a human spirit. And so whatever lights us up is our weirdness.
What's your weirdness?
My weirdness, well, mine's a little bit similar to you guys. I've got a lot of weirdness, but it'd be that I freaking love champagne. Like, love it. I love, like just kind of, going to a hotel, being in luxury. Like, I love luxing it up. And yet, I also love nothing more than just kind of, I've got a harmonium, which is like the most unsexy, unluxurious instrument in the world. It's like this big box. It's like, it's getting fixed at the moment. Always breaks. It's like, rah, 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 like that. And I adore doing devotional chanting. Now, that's the opposite to being cool. But bringing those things together, I also freaking love animated GIFs. They're so like 1990s, but I adore them. I just cannot get enough of them. What's an animated GIF? Oh, babe, go on Tumblr. It's like, when you get a picture, but it's almost like a movie.
Oh, right. They're like the cards, greeting card things. Is it like that?
I don't know what that is.
When you get sent a greeting card and it's like a little Poppy jumping out of a box or something.
Oh yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it'll be like, what the fuck, or something. But it's like 3 frames and it keeps on going over again. So it might be one of Beyonce doing the kale dance.
We've been missing out.
We have, clearly. We're going to
check.
You look really
love it too. If you go on my email list, like pretty much every week I've got an animated GIF.
Okay. Something to do. Amazing. Okay, so to review those 3 wonderful tips.
Okay, so number 1 is follow what lights you up. If that's buying flowers, if it's listening to music, if it's going for long walks, whatever it is, follow what lights you up. Mm-hmm. Number 2, follow your intuition, especially when it doesn't make sense. And the way to do that is to get quiet and to meditate. Also get in contact with nature. Another thing you can do that I know you talk about is free writing in your journal is such a good way to work out how you're feeling when you don't know. And third, it's embrace your weirdness. So I love this whole idea. What are your contradictions? Do you love champagne and then playing weird instruments? Who knows? Embrace it. Embrace the weirdness.
Fantastic. So just before we started filming this video, we were speaking to Rebecca about what the to-do of today would be. So for all you guys watching, we have agreed that we would really like you just to write down in the comments below. It's a really simple one today. Write down in the comments below the 5 things that most light you up. So it's just an opportunity to get really clear today. Write them in the comments below. We really look forward to reading them. And who knows, you might inspire someone else with what you write. And it might bring some light into someone else's life. So do share.
Yeah, and they don't have to be massive things. They can be really seemingly trivial things. Yeah. Like I enjoy watching, drinking a cup of tea and watching Friends on repeat. That's one of mine.
Flowers.
Yeah.
As if that led you to where you are now.
Yeah.
Flowers.
Yeah. Simpler the better. Really, it's like those little things that you do every day. It's not about traveling around the world for 6 months.
Yeah. Okay, so Rebecca, this is amazing. Firstly, can you just remind us when the book is out?
For sure. It's out on the 6th of July, but it's available for pre-order on Amazon now. And so if everyone goes to lightisthenewblack.com, I've got a whole lot of freebies. So there's 3 really powerful meditations that you can download instantly. There's also, you can read the whole first section on PDF while it arrives. And so there's loads of free stuff. So just go there, you just pop in your Amazon receipt. But yeah, it's all available, lightisthenewblack.com.
Perfect. And where else can I find out more about you as well?
So you can go to RebeccaCampbell.me. And then, if you want another free meditation, just sign up the top. And I'm also going to be, you guys are going to be at my book launch at Alternatives on the 13th in London. So any UK babies out there, come along and, come have fun with us.
Yay! Rebecca, thank you so much for jumping on a call with us today. It's been amazing chatting through everything. And definitely recommend that people get hold of this bad boy. So thank you, and we will see you really soon.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
If you enjoyed this live nugget, Skype nugget even, it's a Skype nugget. If you enjoyed this Skype nugget, please do like it. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and do pass it on to everyone that you know. And we will see you very soon.
If you'd like a life nugget and a weekly dose of happiness and motivation straight to your inbox, sign up at addictive-daughter.com and join us and thousands of others in getting addicted to the good stuff today.